Hi, I'm Joel Cradle, the developer of the Walla method. And I've been scratching my head for a while. All these years, bodyworkers have been fascinated by these fascial lines. Well, this is the illusion of linearity. Tough word to say. Could be one of the cognitive reasons some body workers become overly committed to fascial lines. The body does not behave like a chain. It behaves more like a conversation. So thinking pain or restriction here, then tension must travel along this anatomical line. Therefore, treating somewhere along that line should predictably change the original problem. Well, that's linear, one-dimensional thinking being applied to a biological system that is highly non-linear, interconnected, adaptive, and context dependent. So where this bias might creep in for the practitioner, right? We see the foot, we see the calf, we see the hamstring, we see the pelvis, we see the back. And we observe changes in one area that sometimes changes another. So the mind, being lazy, wants to naturally construct a simple causal pathway, A to B, B to C, C to D. But the actual system may be more like A to B, B to C, D to C, right? It's a two-way street back and forth. And it can involve many different parts, the nervous system, right? Our breathing, our balance, our perception, our motor strategy, our environment, right? All the relationships aren't necessarily proportional. A tiny input can sometimes produce a huge change, while a large input can produce almost nothing. That's why nonlinear systems become important, like the Voila method. But there's another cognitive bias that can be involved. So there can be several biases happening simultaneous, right? With this linear thinking, assuming effects propagate predictability along the pathway. That's a confirmation bias, right? So noticing the cases where the proposed line appears to work and discounting the exceptions. People will say, oh, I treated X and Y improved, therefore X caused Y. A useful conceptual model into something treated as though it was a literal physical structure. Also, selection bias could be there. Teaching and remembering demonstrations while failures receive less attention. Or we also have a mechanistic bias, right? Preferring an intuitive mechanical explanation because it feels more satisfying than a complex explanation. So fascial continuity exists is not the same as the body is organized into discrete functional fascial lines that reliably transmit clinically meaningful tension from one region to another. Yeah, I got that off of the internet. All right. So those very claims, therefore, make the mistake that assuming the body is connected and the connections must operate through simple and predictable linear pathways. Doesn't work that way. The body is connected, but the connectivity does not prove linear causality. The body does not always behave like a chain. It behaves more like a conversation. So come join us at the Voila method and learn how to have a conversation with the mind body. Have a great day.